1 minute ago, that's basically Donald Trump's message to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer right now. And the payback? It's already hitting Britain hard, in ways most people haven't even begun to grasp. If you're surprised by how fast this special relationship fell apart, make sure you hit subscribe, because this story only gets darker and the coming economic blow will land right on British households. Let's roll back and see how it all started. For years, Starmer's Labour Party didn't just oppose Trump. They waged a full-scale campaign to destroy his reputation. Sociopath, dictator, racist, pathetic little man, neo-Nazi sympathizer, threat to global stability. These weren't random social media outbursts from fringe MPs. These were deliberate, strategic attacks from Britain's now-ruling party, including senior ministers currently in government. Foreign Secretary David Lammy labeled Trump a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathizing sociopath. And yet, these same people now expect Washington to treat them as loyal allies? Here's where Starmer made his fatal mistake. Trump never forgets an insult. Ever. And now, he's back. Once again, the most powerful man on the planet, commanding the world's largest economy and strongest military. January 20th, 2025. Trump's second inauguration. World leaders from every continent flew in, eager for even a few minutes with the returning president. Italy's Giorgia Meloni, front row seat, photo ops galore. Argentina's Javier Milei, VIP treatment and private discussions. Even controversial figures received invites. But Starmer? Not even on the list. The Prime Minister of Britain, supposedly America's closest ally, completely excluded. This wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate act of public humiliation on the world stage, the diplomatic equivalent of crossing someone's name off the guest list and making sure everyone saw it happen. The message couldn't be clearer. Britain no longer matters. Its leader disrespected me, so now I'm treating his entire nation as irrelevant. But the snub at the inauguration was just Trump's opening move. The real retaliation was still to come. And here's where Starmer's nightmare shifts from embarrassing to potentially criminal. Labor officials didn't just insult Trump, they meddled in the U.S. election. Party members reportedly organized trips to swing states like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, going door-to-door campaigning for Kamala Harris. They even used LinkedIn posts to recruit British volunteers, offering housing for anyone willing to help defeat Trump. Once this came to light, Trump's legal team immediately filed complaints with the Federal Election Commission, accusing Labor of illegal foreign interference in an American election, claiming the party made unlawful contributions by providing manpower and organizational help. Whether this technically broke U.S. election law is still up for debate, but politically, the fallout is undeniable, catastrophic, and permanent. Trump now sees the Labor Party not as Democratic partners, but as foreign adversaries who tried to rig his election and keep him out of power. In Trump's eyes, Labor didn't just insult him, they declared war. And now he's firing back. This is where the real punishment begins: economic warfare. Trump has already made it clear he plans to hit countries that don't show America proper respect with crippling tariffs. And according to multiple reports, Britain sits right at the top of that list. So, what does that actually mean for the average British family? Let's break it down. The US is Britain's single largest trading partner, accounting for more than £280 billion in annual trade. British exports to the US range from luxury vehicles and aerospace components to financial services and pharmaceuticals. If Trump goes through with his tariff threats, UK exports could be slammed with devastating taxes of 25% or higher, making British products uncompetitive in American markets overnight. Factories across the Midlands and the North could shut down. The pound could collapse against the dollar, driving up prices on everything from groceries to gasoline. And what's Starmer doing as this economic storm builds? He's scrambling, desperately trying to get Trump on the phone. Frantic congratulatory messages are being sent through diplomatic back channels, practically begging for a meeting. But Trump's team? They're not even answering. UK diplomatic insiders say American officials are deliberately freezing them out at international events. Britain has effectively been blacklisted by the Trump administration. The depth of Trump's disdain became crystal clear after Starmer appointed Peter Mandelson as Britain's new ambassador to Washington, a man who personifies everything Trump despises about the globalist elite. Mandelson's name is synonymous with Tony Blair's New Labour, European integration, and cozy ties with international power brokers. To Trump's inner circle, that appointment was a slap in the face, a diplomatic insult wrapped in official credentials. Reports from Washington suggest Republican insiders are openly mocking the decision. Some advisors have even joked that Mandelson might be denied serious access to senior U.S. officials altogether. It's unheard of. The UK ambassador to Washington is traditionally one of the most powerful diplomatic roles in the world, and yet Britain's new envoy is being treated like an unwanted guest before he's even landed. But it doesn't stop there. As if economic punishment and diplomatic isolation weren't enough, Elon Musk has now declared his own personal war on Starmer's government. And when the world's richest man decides to destroy your reputation, he's got weapons few others possess. Musk is using his X platform, with its 500 million active users, to systematically tear down Starmer's credibility on the global stage. He's zeroing in like a laser on Labour's every weakness. Musk is now targeting Labour's biggest vulnerabilities, the grooming gang scandals, their restrictions on free speech, and what he calls their authoritarian instincts. But Musk isn't just posting online rants. He's taking direct political action. He's publicly endorsed Nigel Farage's Reform UK party, using his massive global platform to tell British voters to overthrow their own government. And he's hinting at pouring huge sums of money into Reform UK, potentially reshaping British politics entirely. Think about that. A foreign billionaire is now openly intervening in Britain's democracy, and large sections of the British public are actually cheering him on. Why? Because they believe Musk is defending the values their own government abandoned. The contrast couldn't be more humiliating for Starmer. While Britain's elected Prime Minister was left off the guest list for Trump's inauguration, guess who got the red carpet treatment? Nigel Farage. A man with no official role in government was paraded around Washington like visiting royalty. Trump called him spectacular and highly respected in his speech, praising him in front of the entire world. Trump even joked that Farage had inspired his own political tactics, saying, "I think he was watching my speeches in the European Parliament long before he decided to run." I know that to be true. Whether or not that's true doesn't even matter. The symbolism does. Trump clearly sees Farage as Britain's true political voice and Starmer as irrelevant. The optics are devastating. The President of the United States publicly favoring Britain's opposition leader over its sitting Prime Minister. Farage is now presenting himself as the only British politician capable of restoring this special relationship, and Trump is effectively endorsing that narrative on the global stage. Behind closed doors in Westminster, panic is spreading fast. Private conversations among Labour MPs are turning brutal and increasingly desperate. Senior party members are quietly asking the unthinkable: is keeping Starmer as leader worth sacrificing Britain's relationship with the United States for the next 4 years? The math is unforgiving, and it's getting worse by the day. Trump now has 4 full years to impose economic punishment, 4 years to block Britain from international trade talks, 4 years to build new alliances that leave the UK isolated. Sources inside Labour say potential leadership challenges are already being discussed. Names like Wes Streeting and Angela Rayner are surfacing as figures who might be able to reset relations with Washington. The argument is simple: Starmer has become personally toxic to Britain's national interests. But even that may not save them. Trump's grudges run deep, and his memory is long. To him, every Labour leader may still carry the same stain: the party that mocked him, attacked him, and tried to keep him from power. The party that mocked him, attacked him, and interfered in his election. And here's the factor that makes Starmer's position even more unstable: his government's perceived closeness to China. While Trump is assembling a global alliance to contain Beijing's influence, Starmer's team has maintained unusually warm ties with the Chinese government. Labour has been hesitant to take firm positions on Hong Kong, Taiwan, or the Uyghur human rights crisis. They've avoided joining several US-led efforts to restrict Chinese tech firms and continue pursuing trade deals that Trump's administration views as a direct threat to America's strategic interests. To Trump's inner circle, this doesn't just make Starmer irrelevant, it makes him dangerous. Why should America share sensitive intelligence or advanced military technology with a government that Beijing might be quietly influencing? This sets off a vicious cycle. The more Trump isolates Britain, the more London may be tempted to deepen economic ties with China as a fallback. But doing so would only convince Trump further that Britain can't be trusted, tightening the noose around Starmer's leadership. Inside Westminster, whispers are growing louder about what was once unthinkable, forcing Starmer out to save Britain's global relationships. The argument gains weight with every passing week. Each day he remains in office, the UK's relationship with Washington decays a little more. Every diplomatic snub, every unreturned call, every trade threat chips away at Britain's standing on the world stage. And the world is watching and adjusting. Other nations are already recalibrating their own dealings with London. The potential economic fallout is staggering. If Trump goes ahead with large-scale trade restrictions, Britain could plunge into a recession deeper than the 2008 financial crash. Manufacturing hubs across the Midlands, aerospace industries in the Southwest, and financial institutions in London could all suffer devastating job losses. Some Labour MPs are beginning to face the brutal political math. Is protecting one man's leadership worth endangering the livelihoods of millions of British workers? Because what's happening here isn't just a personal clash between two powerful politicians. It's a seismic shift in the global balance of power, one that could permanently shrink Britain's influence on the world stage. For more than 8 decades, the United Kingdom punched far above its weight, politically, militarily, and diplomatically, all thanks to the special relationship with Washington. British prime ministers could pick up the phone and talk directly to US presidents, shaping major global decisions side by side. But if that bond is permanently broken, Britain faces a harsh new truth. It becomes just another mid-sized European nation with limited leverage and fading international relevance. And as the rest of the world watches the fallout, one question is already reshaping diplomatic priorities. Why build alliances with Britain if Britain no longer has influence in Washington?